This is the Monday Night Community Show. We're joined in the studio at the moment with Graham Cottington from the British Transport Police, and we're talking all about how to protect yourself against crime in and around the train station. And firstly, could you just refresh our listeners about your role for us?
Actually, my current role is a school liaison officer, and I work for the British Transport Police out of London Bridge. I work in the crime reduction unit, so we do a bit of crime reduction, crime prevention, and architectural liaisons between building companies that work alongside the railway. So it's quite an active job, very busy job. My job mainly is the school side and educating young people how to use the railway safely, and that's my prime task.
I know you wanted to cover talking about using ATMs this evening.
Yeah, I think it's a subject that a lot of people sort of they forget themselves when they're out on the station. They forget, especially if you come from somewhere like a Sleepy Hollow of Queensborough or Sheerness, and then they go into London, and they do forget when they pull their cards out and go to use an ATM. They just forget who might be around them, who might be watching them. And there's a few tips that we give people when they come into the city or to go to mainline stations to try and prevent themselves from being a target of fraud. I would say, though, that the majority of people will never ever be, be a victim of fraud, and the likelihood of that, at a cash machine is very low. But there are some scrupulous people out there who will take advantage of you if you're there. The one thing I would say is that, with most people, never write your PIN number down. Never leave that number anywhere for people to see, because once they get an idea of your card, they can disclose your PIN and use your PIN. If you're entering your PIN into a machine, particularly in a very busy station like Victoria, Waterloo, London Bridge, those kind of mainline stations, always cover your hand up. And the same when you're in the high street. People walking past can clock what you're doing with your fingers and watch the PIN number going in. Never be distracted as well at the ATM. We've have a problem in London, particularly in London, where they tend to work in 2s and 3s, and you'll put your PIN in, and as soon as you put your PIN in, they will observe that. Right. And what they will do is they'll come up to you and ask you a direction. They'll show you a map and say, can you show me a way to whatever station or some landmark within London. You'll turn around to look at the person, while a second person will come up and take the cash from the cash machine, and that's quite a problem that we're suffering at the moment. If your card is ever confiscated by the machine, never leave the machine. Use your mobile phone if you have one. Phone your bank. Keep a number of your bank into your mobile phone. Never leave the machine. And also, when you enter the machine, when you go to the machine, never if you see something on the machine, you see anything that you're not happy with, move to another machine. Don't use it. Some of these people that use the machines can actually alter the card reader. They can actually fix things to the card reader. Right. And actually, when you put your card in, that it can actually withhold your card. You walk away from the machine. They will then take the clip out, remove your card. They've now got your PIN number and your card, and they will use your card to their advantage. So that's another thing there. And also, when you get home, if you've ever used your card in London, just keep an eye on your account. Just watch what transaction you've made and record whatever you do. Keep the slip. If you take a printed slip, that's your record of what's been taken from the bank. The banks are very, very good. They will refund money to you if it's been taken illegally. But keep an eye on your transactions, and always watch your bank account. If you've used your car outside, use your card, outside, to get that cash back.
So, Graham, what security advice do you have for us if you cycle to the train station?
Yeah, cycling is becoming a big business now, yeah. And in this day and age, when car park fees are rising, people tend to now use a cycle, go to the railway station, park their bike at the railway station, go off into the city, go up to London, go up onto the mainland. I would say that over 400,000 cycles are stolen every year. That's an immense amount. And if you break that down, that's about 1,100 a day are disappearing from this country. A lot of those are being taken by organised crime gangs that are boxing those up and send them abroad. And a lot of those thefts could have been prevented with just from very, very simple measures. Not just from the bike racks in the stations, but also from, taken from home. Last year, between 2007 and 2008, 441,000 cycles disappeared from Britain, and some of those are never ever seen again. So that's quite a large number, isn't it? It's quite a large number. From home, when we say secure them properly, there's a few little measures you can take when you're at home. About 50% of bicycles stolen are from the owner's home address. That's a lot of cycles. So if you keep your bicycle in a secure cupboard or cabinet or a shed, lock it when it's in the shed. And there's a simple tech. I mean, I have 5 bikes and we lock all of those. And if you can secure the bike to an immovable object, if you've got a metal frame in there or something that's floor mounted, secure them to that. It doesn't take very long to do it. I know it's a pain sometimes when you come home, you have to lock your bike up, but it will stop it from going. Certainly when you're out and about, often with the thieves, they will look at the lock first. They will look at the bike, they will parade the bikes first, they will walk up and down the racks, see which lock looks the most timid and which one's attackable, and they will attack the lock that looks the most feeble, and that's what they look for. Always lock your bike, even if you only leave it for a minute. If you're just parking outside the shop to go in and get a packet of cigarettes, or you're going in to get a drink and you leave your bike outside, it's a target, and these people can see that. If you have a lock on your bike, not just lock the bike frame, but lock the wheels to the frame as well. So if you can use a good sturdy lock, a D-ring, lock the D-ring through the back wheel, put a chain link through both wheels, back through the D-link, so the whole bike is secure. A lot of thefts come on the bikes with just the wheels. People will steal just the cycle wheels.
Yeah, you tend to think about locking the bike and not the wheels.
Yeah, the people lock the bike, but the wheels go. And they're locking it. So people will look for things like that. Keep the lock as high as possible. Don't allow the lock to trail on the ground, because some of these guys will use pretty sturdy hammers, and all you need to do is smash a chain on the floor and the chain will split and they will pull the bike apart. It's much harder to attack when the chain's off the floor, and if they hit it, it just sways around. So keep it off the floor, keep it secure, keep it tight. I would say that if you are going to lock your bike, lock it properly. That's what I'd say, and always buy a lock to the value of your bike. If you've got a bike that costs you £50, you're not going to spend £50 on a lock.
No.
But some bikes out there, you're talking £1,400, £1,500, £1,600 for a really good bike. If you've got a Brompton, for instance, a fold-up bike, a lot of those take them on the trains because they don't want to leave them there. Bromptons can now be anything up to, Brompton and other manufactured bikes can actually be, several £100s for a bike. So lock the frame, lock the wheels, lock it to a static object, keep it secure. If you can park it near a CCTV stand, do that as well. It's just simple things. Look to where the bike stand is. A lot of the stands now, that we are covering the CCTV cameras to point at the cycle stand. So that's another thing. A lot of people don't actually register their bikes. They think that the bikes, that the bike is theirs, and they don't think they're ever going to lose it. But there's a good thing. If you take a photograph of your bike, it helps us when we go to investigate the theft of a bike. If we know what we're looking for, if someone comes and tells us they've got a blue bike, some people don't even know the make of their own bike. Some people don't even know the colour. Some people don't even know to have any distinguishing marks on it. So if you can have a mark on it, it could actually be paint chipped from one of the forks. It could be the seat's got a tear in it, or just little tiny things that would help identify the bike. Photograph it and take a note of the bike frame. Every bicycle that's made has a frame underneath the stem, so have a look for the frame number and make a note of it. You can even register your bike on a website called immobilize.com. It's www.immobilize.com. Register your bike, and if you have a look on that website, anybody wants to have a look on that website, have a look on it. You can register anything on there, from mobile phones to computers, televisions, bicycles, cars, caravans, sat navs, everything can go on Immobilize, and we can talk about that a bit later on if you like. But immobilize.com, very, very good website.
Sounds very useful.
Very, very good, useful site to register all your property on. But bikes are now very, very big target, and much sought after by some gangs. So just a few tips there to keep your bike, if anything else, just to keep it, secure it, you'll get it back.